Good morning and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody out there. Um, I've been sitting and waiting for my wife to get up, so I said, I'll come down here and I'll start working on some stuff that I need to work on, and until she gets up, and then we'll celebrate our Christmas. Uh, Yesterday we looked at the inside of the barrel for the Colombian short rifle, and it looked pretty good. We cleaned up pretty good. It still has some more cleaning that needs to be done on it, but it's really shaping up to look really good. So now we have to turn our attention to the outside of the barrel. And you saw the videos of the outside of the barrel that had some pitting, and some of it looked horrendous, and some of it is pretty remarkable. But somebody that works with military surplus guns, old guns that like myself and others, pitting is we're no stranger to pitting. What pitting is, and especially it happens on these guns, especially around the wood and underneath the wood and around the wood, is moisture gets up underneath there, and it pitting is actually like eating away at pieces of metal and leaving that. So there's no way to really get rid of it. Um, some people suggest that you fill it in with something or do whatever, and I don't see that. I think I look at the pitting as character, and these are war guns, and they're old, and they have uh, they have some character to them, and the pitting is their character. So what I try to do is just minimize uh, the actual pitting so that it doesn't show up too much. And there's ways of doing that. Okay. So the first thing I did was I took the barrel out, and I took it outside, and I had some denatured alcohol in a rag, and I got the rag really wet, and I just wiped the whole thing down and got every corner, every nook, trying to get rid of every piece of grease and grime and oil and whatever else was on the gun. And so I did that, and then I got a good look at what was going on. This is a good time when that happens to take a look at the gun itself. I have a little magnifying glass that on a stand that I look at, and I look at the barrel from top to bottom. And I start at the top, and I turn it and turn it, and I look, and what I'm looking for is markings. Okay, there's markings. There's proof markings, which proof markings and stuff are inspector markings, and saying, this gun is good for this, right, the barrel is good. This barrel was installed on such a date. I said it was good, so I put my little R down there, or my little E, or whatever. And it's also the same thing with the receiver. The receiver has little letters, so you can see letters and stuff. Now you don't want to go filing or sanding those off, because then you're ruining some of the historical value of the gun. And you want to be able to look at that, and it can give you information as to what's going on with the rifle. So that's one thing you want to do. The other thing you don't want to do is right there is the serial number. You do not want to sand over the serial number. You do not want to file over the serial number. You don't want to alter that serial number in any way. When I'm sanding or whatever, I bypass the serial number altogether. Some people even put a little piece of tape over it so that they make sure that they don't mess with it, because you do that, then it's considered an illegal gun by the ATFB. They put the B on the end. It stands for bomb. And what they want to do is they want to make sure that they can identify the gun. Some guns, especially civilian guns, prior to 1968, they didn't put serial numbers on them. So you may be looking for it and it's not there, and that's why. But the military guns almost always have serial numbers. They have serial numbers not only on the receiver, but it's also on the barrel, so that you can tell whether it's the original barrel or not. This is not the original barrel. The serial number on the barrel is different than the serial number on the gun. There was a time when the military was taking and putting serial numbers on the barrel, but not on the guns. That was the way that they did it a while back in Europe, especially. That was one of the things that they did, where the barrel was carrying the serial number, not the receiver itself. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's a, when you have other writing, like I have my arfamage right here, which actually started showing up when I did what I just did, and you can actually see that again. It's not the best, but you can see it. So you want to make sure that you don't mess with any of the stampings or letterings or anything like that on the barrel. Then what I did was I took the barrel and I put it inside the vise, and put it in the vise with, like I showed you, with the plastic things that hold it without damaging it at all. Then I went to the areas that were the worst areas of my pitting, and I took my file and I started filing, filed down, just because pitting has those big bumps in it, where the metal is rusted and whatever. So I just turn the barrel a little bit, get the thing done. I wasn't able to obviously get rid of all the pitting. There's still some pitting on there, but the top part of the barrel, if you don't look at the bottom part of the barrel, the top part of the barrel is pretty smooth. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on the bottom part of the barrel. I did some just to do it to make sure that there's no that we can lessen some of the corrosion, because it's going to be under the wood, so you're not going to see it, and people aren't going to see it. So to me, that's yeah, go ahead and spend some time on it, but don't waste a whole bunch of time on it. I did take, and before I did this, I forgot the one step that I did before I did the filing. I took some oil and I took a scrubby and I scrubbed the whole gun down, and I just scrubbed it. People use steel wool, and that's fine. I use steel wool. The problem with if you're doing large areas with steel wool is that the steel wool breaks down into a powder, and that steel wool powder goes everywhere, and it ends up everywhere, and it ends up in your barrel. It ends up in every nook and cranny, and it'll rust. So you'll end up with these areas of little rust that are where this stuff is gathered, and it causes a problem. So I started using old gun restorer showed me how to use this, and it's made out of stainless, and it doesn't scratch. It doesn't even take the bluing off. I have bluing off here just because I've used the file on it, and but it won't even take the bluing off, so that's a good thing. I used on both the receiver and on the barrel. Like I said, it looks better. It's not perfect. It looks better. What I want to do is next. I'm not going to do it today because it's Christmas Day, and my wife will kill me if I come down here. Is I'm going to put it back in the vise again, and I'm going to take strips of wet dry sandpaper, and I'm going to put some oil on it, and I'm going to do like up and down the barrel, up and down the barrel, up and down the barrel, and that'll smooth out it even more, and it'll get rid of some of the lines that my let's see if I can find. There's some lines that the file left on there. I used the big file, and then I have a little file that I used for trying to smooth things out a little bit. And like I said, it came up better than it was, and what is going to show above the wood is actually looking even better. So that's where I stand right now with the barrel. I'm probably going to do the sanding or the polishing tomorrow morning, just because today's Christmas, and even I'm going to take the day off from working here in the mudroom, and then we'll take a look at it, because after that I'm going to clean it off real good, and the receiver's already cleaned out. I cleaned that out real good, and I'm going to start bluing, and I'll blue the barrel, and once the barrel is blued, then we'll start working on the stock, which needs a lot of work, and it'll be fine. I mean, this is what I like to do, so we'll get started on that again. Anyway, happy holidays, and we'll see you tomorrow.